Patriots Nation barely had time to blink before another wave of news hit. And if you were checking updates late at night, you probably felt the same jolt of excitement that spread through the fanbase. Just when things seemed quiet, the New England Patriots made a move that immediately got people talking. The team locked in offensive lineman Vera-Tucker on a 3-year deal worth $42 million, with incentives that can push the total value close to $48 million. It was one of those signings that shows up out of nowhere and suddenly changes the conversation around the roster. What makes this move so fascinating is the context around it. The Patriots had been relatively quiet throughout the day, with fans waiting for some sort of major development. There were whispers that the front office was exploring different options across the market, checking in on multiple players, but nothing seemed close to happening. Then, late in the evening, the news finally broke. The organization had identified its target and acted decisively. Bringing in Vera-Tucker signals that the Patriots are serious about reinforcing the offensive line and giving their young quarterback the protection he needs moving forward. At only 26 years old, Vera-Tucker represents the kind of player teams love to invest in during free agency. He is still in the prime of his career and has already proven that when he is healthy, he can perform at a very high level. That phrase, "when he is healthy," is the key point everyone keeps circling back to. The talent has never been in question. The issue has been durability. Over the past few seasons, injuries have unfortunately interrupted his momentum and kept him off the field longer than anyone would have liked. Last season, he did not see the field after suffering a torn triceps, which ended his campaign before it could truly begin. Go back another year, and the story becomes even more complicated. In 2023, he dealt with a torn Achilles, another major injury that forced him into a long recovery process. And if you rewind even further, there was yet another triceps injury earlier in his career. That pattern is exactly why the contract structure reflects some caution. The Patriots are betting on his talent, but they also built in incentives that depend on how much he actually plays. Still, if you focus on the moments when Vera-Tucker has been fully healthy, the picture looks very different. During his most complete season, his performance metrics were extremely impressive across the board. His overall evaluation grade reached 77.7, while his pass protection grade came in at 74.5. In the run game, he posted a 76.3 mark, showing his versatility and ability to contribute in multiple phases of the offense. Over the course of that season, he allowed only 16 total pressures and just 4 sacks, numbers that any offensive line coach would gladly accept. When you compare those numbers to what the Patriots dealt with along the offensive line recently, it becomes clear why this move generated so much excitement. The team struggled with consistency up front, especially when younger players were forced into roles that did not necessarily suit them. There were moments where linemen had to play out of position, and that kind of instability can create problems for an entire offense. Quarterbacks feel the pressure, the run game loses rhythm, and drives stall before they can even get started. By adding Vera-Tucker, the Patriots are hoping to stabilize that area of the roster. If he can stay healthy and return to the form he showed during his best seasons, this signing could end up being one of the most impactful moves the team makes all offseason. Offensive line play often goes unnoticed until something goes wrong, but fans know how crucial it is to have reliable protection. With a young quarterback like Drake May expected to lead the offense into the future, keeping him upright becomes a top priority. This is why many observers are describing the signing as a classic high-risk, high-reward situation. On one hand, the injury history introduces uncertainty. There is always the possibility that health issues could resurface and limit his availability again. On the other hand, the upside is enormous. A fully healthy Vera-Tucker has the skill set to anchor the line, open running lanes, and provide the kind of pass protection that allows an offense to truly flourish. From a strategic standpoint, the Patriots clearly believe the potential reward outweighs the risk. The front office understands that building a competitive roster sometimes requires bold decisions. Waiting for the perfect, risk-free option rarely works in a league as competitive as the National Football League. Instead, teams often identify players with elite ability and trust their medical staff, coaching staff, and training programs to help those athletes stay on the field. Another element that stands out is the timing of the signing. Moves like this happening late at night show just how relentless front offices can be during this period of the offseason. While most fans were winding down for the evening, Negotiations were still unfolding behind the scenes. Phone calls were being made, contract details were being finalized, and eventually the deal came together. It is a reminder that roster building in the National Football League never truly stops, especially when free agency opens and opportunities begin to appear. For Patriots supporters, the signing immediately sparked debate about how much of an impact Vera-Tucker can make in 2026. Some fans see it as a home run addition, believing that the offensive line now has a cornerstone player entering his prime. Others remain cautiously optimistic, pointing to the injuries and wondering whether he can finally put together a full season without setbacks. Both viewpoints are understandable, because the situation genuinely carries both excitement and uncertainty. What cannot be denied is that the move changes the outlook for the offensive line. Instead of relying entirely on inexperienced options, the Patriots now have a proven player who has performed at a high level in the past. His ability to contribute in both pass protection and the run game gives the coaching staff flexibility when designing offensive schemes. That versatility can make a significant difference over the course of a long season. As the dust settles from the signing, attention naturally shifts to the bigger picture. One addition rarely solves every problem on a roster, and the Patriots still have several areas that need attention. But strengthening the offensive line is often the first step toward building a more balanced offense. With better protection up front, quarterbacks have more time to read defenses, running backs find clearer lanes, and the entire unit gains confidence. And while the Vera-Tucker deal grabbed headlines, it also opened the door to another intriguing discussion surrounding the Patriots and a potential move that could shake up the receiving corps. Rumors started circulating about a possible trade scenario that might bring a young wide receiver into New England, and suddenly fans began imagining how that type of addition could transform the offense even further. As the discussion around roster moves continued to heat up, another storyline began circulating that immediately grabbed the attention of Patriots fans. This time the conversation shifted toward the possibility of a trade, and the name that started appearing in speculation was wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. For most of the day, the assumption around the league was that his current team had no intention of moving him. Early reports suggested there was no scenario where he would be made available, and that seemed to settle the topic for a while. But then things changed. Later in the afternoon, new information surfaced indicating that offers for the young wide receiver were at least being considered. That single update instantly reignited the debate about whether New England should explore a deal to bring him in. Whenever a talented receiver becomes even remotely available, the Patriots are automatically connected to the conversation, especially considering the current state of the team's receiving group. Looking at Thomas Jr. as a player, there is a lot to like about his profile. Physically, he brings exactly the type of size and speed combination that offensive coordinators dream about. Standing around 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighing just over 200 pounds, he presents a massive target downfield and has the athletic ability to stretch defenses vertically. Players built like that naturally draw attention from defensive backs, and that can create opportunities across the entire offense. His most recent season, however, left some mixed impressions. Statistically, the numbers were respectable but not spectacular. He finished with around 700 receiving yards, averaged 14.7 yards per reception, and scored 2 touchdowns. The production was not terrible by any means, but it was noticeably different from the expectations that followed him after his rookie campaign. There were also moments where dropped passes became an issue, which only added to the perception that something was slightly off in his game during that stretch. The contrast between his first season and the following year was striking. During his rookie campaign, Thomas Jr. looked like one of the most promising young receivers in football. He flashed big playability, showed confidence attacking the ball in the air, and gave fans the impression that he could eventually become a true number 1 option. That early success is exactly why teams around the league would still view him as a valuable trade target despite a quieter follow-up season. Sometimes a change of environment can completely reshape a player's trajectory. Different systems emphasize different strengths, and not every receiver fits perfectly within every offensive structure. That possibility is part of what makes the idea of Thomas Jr. in New England so intriguing. In a new scheme, with a quarterback who is still developing and looking for reliable targets, there is a scenario where his skill set could flourish again. When you step back and look at the Patriots' current wide receiver depth chart, the need for another impact player becomes pretty obvious. There are several solid contributors, but the group lacks someone who consistently forces opposing defenses to adjust their entire game plan. Having dependable receivers is important, yet most competitive offenses eventually require a player capable of elevating the entire unit. Adding a receiver with Thomas Jr.'s physical traits could potentially change that dynamic. His ability to threaten defenses deep down the field would open space underneath for other pass catchers. Defenders would have to respect his vertical speed, and that alone could create easier opportunities for slot receivers and tight ends to operate in open areas. It is the kind of ripple effect that one explosive player can bring to an offense. Of course, the question that always follows a potential trade is the price. Acquiring young talent rarely comes cheap, and teams have to carefully evaluate how much they are willing to sacrifice in draft capital. Some fans would argue that giving up a first-round pick is too steep, particularly for a player coming off a season that did not fully match expectations. Others might see the upside and believe that investing heavily in a talented 20-something receiver is worth the gamble. A more balanced approach might involve offering a package built around mid-round selections. Something along the lines of a second-round pick combined with a later pick could represent a compromise that allows New England to pursue the player without completely reshaping their draft strategy. Deals like that are always complex, though, and they often depend on how many teams are competing for the same player. Interestingly, Thomas Jr. is not the only wide receiver name connected to New England discussions. Another possibility that continues to generate speculation is the idea of pursuing a proven star through a trade. A veteran receiver with elite production could instantly transform the offense and provide a reliable weapon for Drake May. Moves like that require significant investment, but they can also accelerate a rebuilding process if the fit is right. Beyond the trade market, there are still several players available in free agency who could strengthen the roster. One name that has attracted attention is Romeo Dew. While he might not be viewed as a traditional number one receiver, his skill set makes him an appealing option as a secondary target in a passing attack. He has steadily improved throughout his career, showing the ability to produce consistently even in crowded receiving rooms. Over the past few seasons, Dew has built a reputation as a dependable contributor who understands how to find space in defenses. His best statistical year included more than 700 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns, along with 55 receptions. Those numbers demonstrate steady growth, and they highlight his ability to deliver when given opportunities. A player like that can add valuable depth while also contributing meaningful production. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are beginning to circulate around the facilities of the New England Patriots, and if the rumors hold any truth, young quarterback Drake May might be on the verge of receiving the kind of support every developing passer dreams about. While nothing has been officially confirmed, several league insiders suggest that the franchise could be quietly working behind the scenes to bring in a major piece that would dramatically change the offensive outlook around the rookie signal caller. After months of speculation about how the team planned to accelerate May's development in the National Football League, the latest chatter hints that the organization may be preparing a strategic move designed to ease the pressure on the young quarterback. Sources close to league circles describe significant internal discussions about reinforcing the offense with a high-impact addition, possibly a veteran playmaker or a proven offensive weapon capable of instantly raising the unit's ceiling. For a quarterback in the early stages of his professional career, the surrounding talent can often determine how quickly he adapts to the speed and complexity of the league. Around the Patriots' orbit, the belief is growing that the front office understands this reality and does not want to waste valuable development time for May. The idea, according to the whispers, is simple. Give the rookie a reliable target or dynamic offensive partner who can create separation, extend plays, and turn difficult throws into easier completions. Team officials have remained silent publicly, which has only fueled speculation among analysts and fans. Some believe the move could come through a trade discussion that has been quietly developing, while others suspect the team may already have a plan in place waiting for the right moment to emerge. Inside league circles, The tone of the conversation is cautious but intriguing. No one is claiming a deal is imminent, yet the sense persists that something could be brewing in Foxborough. If the Patriots truly are maneuvering in the shadows to strengthen the offense, it would signal a clear commitment to building the future around Drake Maye and ensuring that the young quarterback is not left to carry the burden alone. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.